part 3 of 4. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's free. Press the like button and don't forget to leave a comment. IPOB, Indigenous People of Biafra, UK leadership on the Motivator Show.
Let's talk a little further on the treaty that expired in 2014. Okay. Clearly, an international treaty that expired would be recognized by United Nations as expired.
You would have thought so.
Yes, I would have thought so. So, just give us the circumstances, because you would have appealed to the United Nations for that recognition. Britain and others, of course, will either acknowledge or not that is indeed the case.
We have also written them. IPOB, we have written them formally, notifying of that. Mm-hmm. We also include that piece of information in all our bundles that accompany our diplomatic missions. So they know about it, as I said. The under-secretaries in the United Nations know about it. Even the Secretary General must know about it. But as I said, the high-level policies orchestrated by Britain and with the support of the US and some other Western powers or the NATO alliance, we sometimes override our own little effort in that regard. But we continue to appeal to the conscience of people of goodwill, lovers of freedom, to examine our core, to go through the documents we have presented, to check the authenticity, and then re-examine their conscience to say, are we asking for too much? Everyone knows Nigeria has expired, but they are making a lot of deal out of it. It's a business empire. It's a business center, for crying out loud, where people come in and shop and take whatever they like for free. Britain and their allies take a lot of Nigeria, they call it, but it's Biafra, oil and gas, free. Since the start of the Russia-Ukraine war, you and I know that they don't get any good deal again, especially for natural gas from Russia. So where is the next alternative? Surely it's not Middle East, because they're going to pay big top dollar. So there is a cheap source somewhere, which unfortunately my father's backyard is one of them. So Nigeria is trading horses with them to keep the dead horse going, keep massaging the dead horse and giving it a CPR, hoping that it will come to life, back to life someday. But everybody in Downing Street knows, the Queen that died new, King Charles knows. Everybody knows that Nigeria is dead. And the peoples of Nigeria have a right since 2014 to decide whether to stay together or go separate ways. And that's what we've been asking for. Peacefully, amicably, we don't want wars. This can be done on a table. Gentleman discussion, and we shake hands.
Yes, so the mission is clear, using peaceful means for recognition for what is your legal right based upon the treaty that was signed. There's no expired.
Yes.
There you are. And that's very clear and well said. Thank you for that. Thank you.
First of all, Nigeria is not my country. I was born a Biafran. My birth certificate reads Biafra, and no one has ever changed that. The fact that I was at some point or the other in possession of a Nigerian passport does not actually confer upon me their citizenship. I saw the Nigerian passport as a mere travel document because my birth certificate issued at the time of my birth reads Biafra. Nobody of a sane mind will condone or accept what is happening in Nigeria. I believe that genuine attempts have been made in the past to try to remedy the wreck that Nigeria is today, but there was a palpable unwillingness on the part of the powers that be to do something about it. I detest suffering and pain. I hate to see people suffer. I hate to see people in pain. The only thing that propels me, the only thing that drives me towards this very agitation is not born out of hatred for anybody, but a desire to test freedom in our time. Nigeria was not constructed by a Yoruba man. If it were, I would have perhaps accepted. Nigeria was not created by a Fulani man. If that was the case, who knows, I may accept. Nigeria was not created by a Hausa man either. It wasn't created by a Nupe man. It wasn't created by a Gwari man, never created by a Jukun man. Nigeria was not created by an Ijaw man, not created by an Ibibio man. Nigeria was created by a white man and named by a white woman. The name Nigeria means awful, bad, evil. It means, which is a swear word, is a slur in America. If a white person calls a black person, they might end up in jail. Then why should I answer a name that is abhorrent before God and before man? Nobody came from all these ethnic groups. They never got together to say, from today our name should be Nigeria. A white man determined that. I cannot go to England and say to English people, I want to rename Liverpool. I want to give it another name. I'm sure they'll think I'm mentally, unstable and put me in jail. Now, the problem is this. Why should Africans accept the name Nigeria? It doesn't mean anything in Yoruba language, doesn't mean anything in Hausa language, doesn't mean anything in Igbo language, but yet we are Africans. So I see it as a relic, or should I say a vestige of racism. I see Nigeria as an abomination, not just before God, but before man as well. Those with common sense, that is the reason why I like Thomas Sankara. Thomas Sankara changed the name from Upper Volta, that had no meaning, to Burkina Faso. Now, I wonder why educated, very savvy and enlightened Nigerians cannot see it. You have half of Yoruba land in Benin Republic. Some are in Togo. For over 20 years, I have been a very vocal advocate of a Yoruba nation that will also encompass the Yorubas in Benin Republic and those in Togo, because they are Yoruba people. Wouldn't that be very wonderful? Why should white people come from Europe and decide that some Yorubas should be Togolese, some should be from Benin Republic, and some should be from Nigeria? You're a Yoruba man. What do you have in common with a Kanuri man? Absolutely nothing. But I can tell you, you have something in common with a Yoruba man in Togo. You have something in common with a Yoruba man in Benin Republic. Why should you see a Kanuri man as your fellow citizen in Nigeria and not a Yoruba man who lives just a stone throw from Badagry? So these are the anomalies that Africans need to sit down to address. That is why we have arrested development. That is why nothing seems to be working. Because the convergence of these diverse value systems from the core Arewa North, from the West and from the East is making it impossible for Nigeria to function as a viable state. And that is a recognition that we must, at this very point in time, be able to address as educated people. Not that I hate Nigeria. I hate the name. I despise it with a passion. If you allow me, I wouldn't exist tomorrow morning. Anybody who answers or addresses him or herself as a Nigerian is a product of neocolonialism, not something that I am prepared to accept, because Nigeria never existed until Flora Shaw gave her that name, Nigeria. Before that, you had Oduduwa. Before that, you had Biafra. Before that, you had Crown Empire, and all these wonderful and weird civilizations. Now, a white man cannot come from Europe and then create an identity for me. Only God in heaven can do that. And I can give an identity to my dog. The only thing you can name are your children and your pets. They are not our fathers. They are Caucasians. We are black Africans. They have no right being in Africa and giving us names. And that I will never ever accept.
And that's what we've been asking for. Peacefully, amicably, we don't want wars. This can be done on a table.
So the
gentleman discussion and we shake hands.
Yes, so the mission is clear. Using peaceful means for recognition for what is your legal right based upon the treaty that was signed. There's no
self-determination, yes.
There you are. There you are. That's very clear and well said. Thank you for that. Thank you. But I wanted to take us
And just to
further.
add that this self-determination is included in United Nations Charter, is in the African Union Charter, is in the Nigerian mockery of the Constitution of 1999. It's everywhere.
It is. And that's why I mentioned the United Nations being a crucial body. But I wanted to take us forward. I'm a bit conscious of your time that we'll make sure we get as much in as possible. Okay. And you've mentioned Britain, but in the past 12 months, can you describe a successful activity or event put on by the IPOB in Britain?
Right. I just started by saying some of the diplomatic missions we've been undertaking.
Yes.
And again, the details of those, because we don't like to say them before they yield results. Experience has taught us that many good things we are doing, once we becomes a subject of social media discussion, Nigeria government is tipped off. They have infiltrated us even within us, and they go and block it or truncate or frustrate it. But we have been doing a lot of that.
Forgive me.
The ones I can share with you.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Yeah, the ones I can share with you include the letters we have written to the Parliament, to the Prime Minister's office, the enlightenment engagement we have done with communities, including recently, may so rest in peace, our involvement at the funeral of foremost writer, novelist, friend of Biafra, Frederick Forsyth, who covered the genocide in 1967 to 70. IPOB was well represented and recognized at the funeral. We were active in participation to pay our last tribute and respect to a great man. We have also hosted here in the UK what we call the European Biafra get-together. We did it in Luton, a small town, on the 5th of July this year, where IPOB leaders from all over Europe gathered to not just to discuss the trend of events and the way forward, but also to again evangelize to the British community. We use the opportunity to create more awareness. So we've done a lot. Most of the things we do that are internal, I don't think is what me saying on your program. But every week we have schedule of activities. Every month we have a major event that we do in here in the UK. I don't want to blow my own trumpet because I'm not the one to assess myself or score myself, but my humble self and my team, because I don't work alone, of IPOB UK leaders are doing crisscrossing the whole country. We've been able to establish what we call our families or zones in places where we didn't have them before, like Northern Ireland.
Right.
The IPOB had never been there. Yeah, we've been able to establish that within this time you mentioned. And we are going to do even more in Wales and the rest of Britain to ensure that our message goes around to all the 367 MPs. In the last 1 year, we visited them with a team in different zones to visit all the MPs, at least drop a letter or discuss with them. So we are doing our level best. We do this with a clear conscience that what we are doing is pure, peaceful, and purposeful. And also concerning the plight of our leader, Onyeduma Nnamdi Kanu, a British citizen, for that matter.
I don't think, I'm going to come to in a moment. I need to get the background sorted, you see, so we can come back to your leader. So that's clear that there's a flurry of activities constantly underway here in Britain to put the case for the IPOB. Okay, that's the message I wanted you to communicate to the audience. Okay, so they may wish, and I'll get to it later on, in terms of giving you that additional support. But I do want to ask a parallel question, which is really more, if I may, more continental African question and more to us in diaspora. I want to ask this question.
Sorry, just to add something that is very important, I forgot. Sorry. In the last 4 months, again in July this year, we have made an indelible imprint in the Igbo Festival of Arts and Culture. It's a yearly annual event in London of gathering of all Igbos. Bearing in mind that not every Igbo or Biafran supports IPOB. So we have used that very large gathering to also reach out to our own people, because it's a balancing act. We are engaging our people, we are engaging the outside community as well, and the governments to press home our legitimate cause.
Well done. Well done. That's a very important. Thank you for that, and that's a good addition. Thank you so much. Thank you. But it's a conscious of time, so I want to just go on to this other question, which is a fundamental one, that concerns all of us, both continent and the diaspora. Okay. In your opinion, does the IPOB vision and mission contradict the rising Pan-African ideas of African continental collaboration, respect, and unity? Is there a contradiction between your vision and mission and the broader Pan-African ideas of continental collaboration, respect, and unity?
There's no competition, it's a collaboration. IPOB's mission and vision and our ethos, principles complement what we see now as the African Renaissance, the Pan-African wave that we've seen in the last couple of years, especially since last year, from the Sahel nations of Burkina Faso, Mali, up to Niger, which are these are neighbors of northern Nigeria. I must also posit that those young leaders, particularly Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, must have received inspiration from IPOB and our leader, Onyendumasi Nnamdi Kanu. He's a young man of 39 years old. With all due respect to his age, he probably was only about 27, 28 when IPOB came on board. And being a young man of maybe university or military academy, still studying, I'm sure he took note of IPOB principles, ethos, mantra, the philosophy, and everything, and incorporated it into his leadership as soon as he had the opportunity. So we are, if anything, working in consonance. We are in tandem. What they are asking for, what Africans are now beginning to celebrate all over the world, is exactly what IPOB has been calling for since 2012.
Yes.
It is no different.
Respect and unity.
And we will continue to do that.
Unity.
So I personally congratulate the young man, Ibrahim Traore, and every other person who is of similar mindset, not from a political correctness perspective, not as an opportunism, but who has that true African blood in them, that seeks the rising of Africa and the survival of Africa. They must continue. We must continue. Victory is surely ours.
Well said. Well said. Yeah. Well said. Yes, well said. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
It's the Motivator here. Hope you enjoyed that fantastic podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, or at the very least, give us a like. And don't forget the next video on screen. Click through and enjoy.